All right, another beautiful Wednesday evening right here, and glad to know that you are there watching this live from wherever you are. So good to have you joining again. This is Word Bank Kingdom Conversations live right here at the Bridge Network City Church. And on behalf of the host, Pastor Francis Mado Jimo, I want to welcome you to this wonderful session. I am Kayode Sunny, and for anyone that has been in this series, you will know that we are onto something, and we've been uncovering truth. We are trying to uncover a truth to one of the world's most controversial subject ever, and it's the conversation of sex. And that's why we are here, seated right here for the whole for 4 weeks in March, talking about sex live and direct. For the first edition, we had Miss Jennifer Kikushote, who took us on a beautiful journey, and last week was another explosive session with Mrs. Temiloluwa Moronkeji, and we dealt with a whole lot of sides to the conversation about sex. And tonight is going to be another beautiful, amazing session, and we are praying that God will help us to uncover truth that will be something that anyone can go back to and find truth that will help their lives as pertaining to the conversation of sex and sexuality. Once again, I want to welcome you to Dr. Michaels, as is popularly called. Good evening.
Hi.
And as much as Dr. Michaels is a special guest, he's no stranger to the Bridge Network City Church. I want to say thank you for coming in. So, who is Dr. Michaels? Let's get straight to it. Dr. Ayodele Michael Tiwale, popularly known as Dr. Michaels, a medical doctor with interest in interventional therapy, had his med training at Ogun State University, medical director, quantum consultant in mental health service. The organization caters through therapy sessions based on cognitive behavioral therapy for a category of clients who have had past traumatic experience or have current disturbing life issues that could degenerate into mental health disorders or physical health issues. Dr. Michaels uses 5-way interventional talk therapy regimen done virtually or physically. This approach has been known to not only deal with past traumatic experiences, aftermath of trauma, but also help clients develop the personalities needed in building a better future and stable mental health. Once again, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sex, right? And what I would like you to do for starters is to help us look at it from the perspective of mental health. In the world of mental health, is there a definition for sex, or is the way anyone should think about sex, or even as a doctor, be the view for sex?
That sex is good.
Okay, okay.
I remember saying it at a redeemed church. Immediately I said sex is good. One of the pastors quickly added, amongst married people. I did not ask you, because there's that misconception about people they have not even dealt with the statement that sex is good. You're already having within marriage. First of all, people need to be convinced that sex is good. And normally, on my Facebook page, I've talked a lot. I've said sex is holy. I've said sex is godly, because I was just trying to change people's perspective about sex. Because I also said that God originated sex, or God is the originator of sex, and so if it's a gift from God, and so if it is a gift from God, then it is holy.
Okay.
Then it is godly. Then it is good. Okay. All good and perfect gifts, including sex. So you need to first of all ring that home first, because people have been told that they're not supposed to have sex before getting married. That has changed the mental health which they have thought, emotions, what jack about sex. And they don't even know where to turn to. And you not example, I knew where to turn to. Our affection for a woman who has been married for years. They have like years by now, as in yes, and she she was told that you should only have sex. So the only hard vocabulary or some phrases just to catch people's attention. When she opened her, or when she has sex, open her legs, and to her husband, it's only when she wants to get pregnant.
You made mention of gift, right? And I want you to tie it to the young people now, because I think that's from like a broad perspective. Now let's break it down to the young person. What how do we let a young person know that it's a gift, know that it's good, despite the fact that sex can be volatile? It can be too extreme or be too low.
Yeah, because people know what sex is and what it does, what it's all about, and then that will now help them to make well-informed decision. How can people make well-informed decision if they don't know what sex is? And that's why this broadcast is very important, because people are just told don't have sex. They are not told sex. What does it entail? And after sex, you get relaxed, and then so people have it, and then they get relaxed, and then they say, wow, so I can go. So whenever I'm stressed.
Okay.
So people use sex to deal with psychological trauma.
People use sex to deal with psychological trauma.
And that was not the original plan. So when you use this microphone can you use this microphone to sweep the floor? No.
So, sorry, I'd like you to really expand on that. How people use sex to deal with psychological trauma.
Yeah. People are literally asking sex to help them manage psychological trauma when sex was not designed to manage or deal with psychological trauma. So when people sense that they are either tired excessively, or they are just anxious, or they are not really doing well in life, they feel what they need is sex. So you can equate sex with drugs. Is it that they take drugs or they take sex? The same thing, they are asking drugs to deal with psychological trauma. And it's not going to do that. Because the pathway to deal with psychological trauma is repairing the mind.
Repairing the mind. And I'm still going to get back to that. Looking at it from the psychological aspect now, looking at how people may have experienced sex from a young age. For example, I'm thinking about someone that was raped, and that automatically changes a whole lot of things. Right? I want you to speak to that.
Yeah, what it does is it takes them to the extreme, either extreme of not wanting to have it or having it excessively, like without control. So those are the triggers the memory of what has happened to them. And so is it that they hate it, and then it's going to reflect when they get married, it's going to affect the sexual activity in their marriages. And then those that have it at the extreme, they literally feel they need to have it consistently to suppress the trauma or to deal with the trauma.
And talking about sexual abuse, I think about 2 weeks ago, Punch newspaper released a report about the rate at which boys were abused, in trying to make a case against, trying to delineate between who gets abused and all of that. And the records were, and the stories and records were crazy. But one particular story that comes to mind was this guy that shared the story of how his aunt came home and the aunt was left to beat him, but the aunt will just begin to while she's bathing for the young boy, you just keep stroking his manhood, and he said sometimes it feels so much pain, and after that it has led to problems for him sexually. There was one of such too that I recall, where his brother's friends will I don't know how to even say this, will begin to play with his manhood, and that has affected his sexual life. Now I want you to talk to that also, about people that have dysfunctional sexual life as a result of this abuse that they've gone through. What is the first step?
The first step is, first of all, teaching what sex is all about. That sex is good, sex is a godly thing, and sex is a gift from God. And then the next step after that is now helping them to open up and talk about what has happened to them, without any sense of danger, the danger of being condemned, without the danger of people quoting scriptures. Why are you sleeping around? Are you sure you don't have demonic attack? Are you sure you don't need deliverance? So the person must be allowed to open up. And the second thing is, the person will now go through what we call certain kind of therapy, where the trauma itself will be removed, and then the person will be free instantaneously. That's why we call it interventional talking therapy. And then the person will now be well educated about the whole situation, what sex is all about, so that whatever impression the person has had before, whatever wrong education the person has had about sex, the person is well educated about it, and then the person is able to make well-informed decision. But the major issue is not just the baby or the child that is a victim. Even the offender too is also a victim.
The offender.
Because it takes pain to cause pain.
So it's like a cycle.
Yes. So the housemaid that is abusing the boy, she's also in pain. So, but when it comes to psychological pain, it's not like you'll be shouting pain, pain, pain. A lot of people are in psychological pain. A lot of people have psychological pain, but you will not know. They will take drinks, they will be fine. But even they themselves are not even aware that they have psychological pain. So we need to see not just the victim as being a victim, we also need to see the offender as suffering. Because it takes pain to cause pain.
Interesting. Let's move on. And I have two concepts now, and I want to start with pornography, for example. There's been a whole lot of argument. For example, one popular argument that I know about pornography was that married people need to watch pornography to spice up their sexual life, and then we also see how people just different arguments. And I would like you to break it down for us from the young to the old. What is the real story about pornography, and how does it affect the mind? How does pornography affect the mind? And is it really true? Is it really true that pornography helps married people, to spice up their sexual life?
Well, we are still going to go back to education. I remember talking about sex on Instagram, and one person said, people that want to get married, they should be educated about sex maybe few weeks before marriage. It's going to affect the sexual life of the other person, and then they will in turn want to watch pornography. And then people are focusing on the wrong thing by talking more about pornography. For example, a pornography set is not a real set. These guys that you see in pornography, they would have taken drugs. And it's not, this recording is what's it called now? There's no cut. There's no editing. But pornography videos are edited. So they cut, they relax, they do a redo, there's a director, there's a cameraman. It's literally a movie. So what you see, you might get a wrong impression. And then when wives see it, they feel that man, if that man could last that long, then my husband, what's wrong with you? But the wife is not aware that the man did not last that long ago. They had to edit, they had to stop the recording, they had to say, no, move this way, move that way, and a whole lot. So that's why, that is the only thing I feel people should talk about. Once people are aware that what they are saying is not as real as what they are saying, then they will start making well-informed decisions about what they are saying. By the time you know that what I'm saying is not real, then you are not going to base the sexual life of your marriage or your future sexual life on that. And by the time people know that sex does not deal with psychological trauma, so people who turn to sex or who turn pornography cannot deal with psychological trauma. So if you now turn to pornography to do what it was not meant to do, then it won't deal with the problem that you want to do. I feel looking at it from that angle, it provides it helps people to be able to make a well-informed decision. I've seen a lot of videos that people make on. I just laugh upon all this stuff that we have been told. Don't do this. If you do it, pornography is a huge market.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And people watch it behind closed doors. But if you take my point and you see that there's no point, if your husband does not last that long, then there are exercises that you can do. Majority of premature ejaculation is from psychological stuff, not being able to manage your mind, and the rest like that. And then pre-marriage phase. We came up with 3 after interviewing couples for a very long time, and we asked them stuff about their marital life. They said they would have wished that they did not get married to the person they got married to.
Really?
Or that they waited a little before they might end up getting married to that person but another person. So by the time you're having 2 people come together and they are not compatible, and then they are not aware that they are not compatible, it's going to reflect. Like it was during that survey that we came up with three C's of compatibility: purpose compatibility, sexual compatibility, and core values compatibility. The more you are compatible in these 3 things, the more you'll be able to enjoy or have a good sexual experience. And for sexual compatibility, we talk about virgins and virgins, non-virgins and non-virgins. If a non-virgin gets married to a virgin, the virgin will be the student in the room, and then the non-virgin will be the master. Will the non-virgin be patient enough for the virgin to go through the experience? And if the man is the virgin, will he allow his wife to teach him? So imagine if a virgin gets married to a virgin, they are both on the same level, and so they are able to explore. There's no pressure.
Still on the subject of pornography, there's a way our bodies have senses, more like doors. And when we open these doors, a lot of things are allowed to come in. And for some, especially young people now, in the context of a young person now, they've opened their minds and eyes to pornography. And now there's a sort of growing addiction to it. Or let me say even total addiction for some. How do we break addiction?
Well, the pornography is
especially now that we have, sorry to cut you, especially now that it's almost like we have it even in our screens.
Yeah, it's filling a void. So why don't we deal with the void? The person seeking pornography, like I say everywhere, even sex is abused. People are literally asking sex to do what it cannot do.
People are asking sex to do what it cannot do.
Yes. So they don't know jack about sex, but they have it.
The same thing Mrs. Moronkeji said last week.
You understand? They don't know jack about it, but they have it. What does that tell you? They're not really interested in sex. They have one internal problem that is pursuing them. They say, okay, this thing can solve it. Okay, bring it. You did not even ask, what can you do? What's it all about? You will just collect it and then you deal with the internal problem. But if we turn people's attention to dealing with what is happening inside them, they won't need sex again. So, but the society is doing it the wrong way. And people are having sex, so forget about married or not. Pastor. Hey, people are having sex regularly. So, do we want a change? If we want a change, then we need to stop pursuing the wrong thing. It's not going to solve the matter. We need to start turning inside. Something is pursuing people. That's why they take drugs. You are now saying don't take drugs. If you were to be in their shoes and something is that's even if something is not pursuing you too. If you were to be in their shoes, will you not take drugs? Whereas many of our people take drugs. Many believers take drugs. If you were to be in their shoes, will you not also have sex? You would, thinking that sex will help out. So what I'm trying to say is, we need to start focusing. I feel there's too much attention about don't have it. Instead of turning people's attention to dealing with their personal issues that will in turn help them to make well-informed decisions. Like many people have sex because they want validation. Many people
Validation.
Yes. Many people have sex because they have low self-esteem.
Really?
Yes. And they feel, okay, if I offer my body, I will get something. Like a woman feels that her body can be used in exchange for anything.
For a woman dealing with low self-esteem.
Yes. And so she feels if I give my body, I will get friendship in return. That's why you hear, what are we? The guy is not thinking of any relationship. But
what are we? We are the world.
But because before a woman can give her body, she's thinking of getting something in return. Either friendship, either relationship. Men have sex for no reason. These are the issues. These are the issues that we are supposed to be dealing with.
So thinking about this one, that
men
you said
can have sex. They can have sex with any woman.
Because this has been an argument.
And it does not mean that they love the woman. But a woman will not have sex with a man that he does not have feelings for. But men. So why don't we deal with that? Because that's what will now help people to control their sexual urges. Because no matter what you say till kingdom come, men feel they want to have sex. They want to have sex. And women feel, okay, you can have sex, but what am I going to get in return? But by the time a woman starts thinking that she has something more to offer than her body, that what she has to offer is the extraordinary power to push a man from where he is and parachute him to where he wants to be. She will no longer focus on sex as a means of exchange. Once a man knows that his role in the family is to bring stability, and that means if you are going to give stability, you must also be stable. So he will now start dealing with all the visions that are pulling him left, right, and center, creating stress. He will deal with those things because he knows that his future role is waiting for him to be able to bring stability into the life of his wife that has a complex nature. So once a man starts doing that, he's going to take his attention away from sex. And then help him to make a well-informed decision. Don't forget, the sexual urge was given to us by God. What we want to aim at is how to control it. And if there's any trauma, people have sex because of trauma too.
And we're still going to look at all of this, but looking at it from where you are now so that we can really touch on these things, will it be right then to say that sex is abused because people are trying to fill a void?
Yes, that's the reason why major reasons why people are having sex. So if you don't focus on the void and you keep focusing on the sex, you will not achieve anything.
What about people that tell you that it's just for the fun?
It's still the same reason, but they are not aware that there's a void.
Okay.
It's one thing to know that you have a void. It's another thing to know that, to think you don't have a void. And currently, our people here in Africa, they live in denial. So many of our Gen Zs want to be in a relationship. They know that the person they're in a relationship with, they're not going to marry the person.
Wow.
They both know it's for sex. So, but once our people are being taught about self-discovery, self-development, especially since we're in the church, especially as it relates to how Christ developed himself and like that, then people's attention will be drawn away naturally.
But to subject the time, that one is masturbation.
The same reason. The person that is masturbating is trying to fill a void.
So I need you to walk me through the signs, because I'm really, really trying to get a full picture of that. If I have a void, why do I need to actually masturbate?
Yeah, because some people masturbate because they feel it will prevent them from having physical contact with anybody.
Yes, I do hear that.
So some people also masturbate because of maybe a particular void, a trauma they have. But a lot of people turn to masturbation because they are trying to fill a void.
Still on this issue of filling a void.
So the first thing you want to eliminate, you want to check, is there a void?
So then, how can we help people to become self-aware in terms of identifying a void that is helping them, making them do habits and do things that they shouldn't be doing?
Providing an atmosphere where people can talk about their sexual life. And I hope you will not ban them from church. If they say, I've been having sex regularly, and you led prayer last week, and the prayer was hot, because it's the gift of God now. So I feel we are focusing on the wrong thing. So first of all, we need to provide an atmosphere where people can literally talk about their sexual life and they will not be judged. I feel there has to be a classical class on sex. What is sex? What is it about? What is the purpose of sex? Instead of saying married people are the only ones that are supposed to have sex, you're not going to succeed in dealing with the issue. So, what is sex? And then punishing people, asking people to go and sit at the back, disgracing people, bringing embarrassment. Okay, where has it gotten us? In fact, someone just told me, maybe a client, that some people were told to do that, and then they now, after the whole experience, they now went, we have been exposed. And I think the woman got pregnant. And that will force them deep. So first of all, we need to talk about sex in a way that sex is a good thing, it's a godly thing, it was sent is a gift from God. And number two is, why do you want to have it? Instead of telling people, don't have it. No, women have menstrual cycle, women's hormones, they surge 3 weeks in a month. Do you know that? Wow. You see that? He does not know. How many of our men, how many of our men know that our women go through hormonal surges 3 weeks in a month? 3 weeks in a month. And they are only free to be themselves just 1 week in a month. Wow. And when those hormones are raging, that's when they want to touch. That's when they want to hold. Especially that ovulation. The woman will go, like, her head will start, the hormones are in charge. So you need to be able to teach our women how to be in control.
Our women now, what about young women, young girls?
The same thing that we are saying. Young girls from age 11, 13, they start having menstrual cycle. And then the hormones start raging. And then, depending on the mother, depending on the woman, if the mother has been able to control, she's been able to control herself and manage herself, it will also reflect in the children, in the daughters. It will play a role. So you also need to consider that. So there's a whole lot, but once there is adequate education about sex, it will help people to make well-informed decisions. Once you are able to start talking about menstrual cycle, then women will start feeling that you understand them. Then they will start coming out openly and say, during the ovulation, I want to touch. I just feel like touching Brother Sheung. No, they don't say that. Brother Sheung is holy. Don't pollute. Don't pollute Brother Sheung. Women are now seen as dirty people. It's not fair. Women, don't touch me. Don't touch. Women should stay away. No, it's not. That's the way God created them to be very intelligent, and the hormones, the menstrual cycle stuff is also a gift from God. And how can we then send them away? Because why don't we teach them on how to be able to be in charge, like sex mastery?
And which leads me to the next question.
And then, there is this relationship between temperament and sex too. There's a spectrum. There's phlegmatic, melancholy, choleric, sanguine. That's from the extreme introvert to the extreme extrovert. The sanguines, they have the highest sexual urge.
Really, scientifically proven?
Yes, you know you are sanguine. Are you aware?
I'm not.
But your other temperament is, I think, either phleg or male.
I think I'm more phlegmatic.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, which one should we go? Should we quickly come to phleg, or we should go back? So sanguine, they have the highest. So now, everybody has all the four, but two are predominant.
Oh.
So it's not just phleg that you have. You have an extrovert temperament, true of us.
I think I do.
So is it like it's sanguine or choleric? But I have not seen you display majorly choleric stuff.
I don't think I have that.
Then you are sanguine. So you are sanguine, phlegmatic. And sanguines have the highest sexual urge. Cholerics have the second highest.
Wow.
Melancholics have the third highest. Phlegmatic have the least. Phlegmatic sees sex as a dirty thing, a satanic thing.
And this is scientifically proven.
Yes. And
theories.
They feel that sex is, they can survive without sex for years. And then you will now think it is, they will now say, look at Sister Diola. She has been a virgin. It's because she's flego. But don't mix up spiritual growth. Don't mix up spiritual growth with temperament.
But some people don't even believe in all of this false.
They don't have to believe it. That's who they are. It doesn't change the fact that who they are. Is it not? Temperament is just personality studies. So if you like, don't believe it. If you believe it, it will help you in understanding yourself more. You'll be able to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Like now, you are phleg. They love spiritual things. And they don't like sex. That's one extreme. And then you have an extrovert. Within you, I can tell you what goes on in Brother Kayode's sexual life.
Come on now.
There's a pool. The extrovert is bashing him with the high sexual urge. He says, no, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus. Then the phlegmatic is drawing him away. Turn into yourself. But by the time you know that, okay, this is me, these are like two extreme sexual urges combined in me, and they are who I am, then I will start calming down, and I will start learning about the strengths and weaknesses of the two predominant temperaments. And it will then help me to start managing them.
And of course, it ties to what I'm about to ask about sexual urge, especially for young people.
Sexual urge is good. If you don't have sexual urge, then there's something wrong with you medically.
Exactly. But from the point of being able to, just like you said, being able to be in charge, and I want us to look at it from the point of young people.
It starts from getting to know myself. So if I'm phlegmatic now, I would not have so much, the sexual urge will not be much.
If you're predominantly phlegmatic.
If I'm phlegmatic, and because out of the two predominant temperaments, one is primary, one is secondary. So if your primary is phleg, so let's use phleg sanguine. Let's use two massive extreme. Phleg sanguine. the flag person might now get carried away that I've been able to gain sex mastery. Not knowing that, no, you have not gained any sex. It's because they have not locked you in a room with your speckle. If they lock you in a room with you, that's where you will know that,
there's fire on the
there's
mountain.
fire on the mountain. So, and then, so the number one thing is getting to know myself.
Self-awareness again.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it does not mean that because you are now born again, you don't have the good, the bad, and the ugly. The old creation has gone away, but it's left, the furniture is still around in your mind.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
In terms of being in charge of urges.
And the number two thing is understanding how the mind works.
I think that's
all
a
the
whole lot.
all the pornographies that you have watched, they are stored there. If you like, say I don't watch them again. All the things that you have seen through your eyes, you have heard through your ears, everything, they are still there. But in interventional therapy, we can remove them.
Oh, really?
Yes, and then start replacing them with the kind of, and it's a journey. At least will destroy the therapy will destroy the negative effect of the memories that you already have that you don't want. The question is, what do you want? Is it that you don't want to have sex because pastor will be angry with you?
So a proper view.
What do you want? Do you want sex? Do you want to have it? Or you don't want to have it? Why do you want to have it? And why don't you want to have it? And then now saying, God does not want me to have it. That's why I don't want to have it. It will not work. If they lock you up with your spec. So getting to know yourself will help you to understand the sexual part of you, because you are a sexual being.
Getting to know yourself, getting to know how your mind works will help you to understand your sexual part.
So there are two steps. Know yourself. Number two, know how the mind works.
So how does the mind work? Talk to me like a 5-year-old. Break it down to me like a 5-year-old child, as they say.
The mind is like the tongue. In fact, what makes the tongue powerful in James 3 is the mind. The mind has the same quality, has similar qualities to the tongue. The tongue is rude or is unruly. The mind is unruly. Based on what you have stored in it.
So garbage in, garbage out.
So it's not. So the way people look at the mind is the mind. The Bible says we should cut it off. All these people that are talking about mental health, the mind is satanic. No.
Wait, like really? Do you have people like that? Are you serious?
The mind is a result of what you have stored in it. Our people watch Nollywood. People are wondering why do we have a lot of cheating cases today? Our beautiful people in Nollywood, it's very hard to watch a movie and you won't see a cheating scene, even in Hollywood too. So people are already programmed for cheating.
It's okay.
That it will take place and it's a normal thing. And then that will eventually happen. Because we are the creator of our physical realities based on what we think. So the mind is what we used to think. It also works in collaboration with emotions. Mind, emotions majorly make up mental health, including our words and our action. But you see that mind, and then our thoughts produce our emotions, and thoughts are from our minds. And our thoughts is formed from our beliefs. Our beliefs are formed from our information. So information form beliefs. Information that we repeatedly get exposed to form our beliefs, and then beliefs form our thoughts. And in a situation where we give out information and we don't allow people to challenge it, we don't allow people to question it, it will never become belief. It will never become a belief. And so it will not become a thought. It will not become an emotion. It will not become words, and it will not become action.
Sorry to take you back because I had a question before now. My mind just went back to that point where you said sexual abuse. I know people try to feel people abuse sex because they're trying to fill a void. But looking at the way sex now is, the perversion with sex, does it not mean that we have a whole lot of people trying to fill a void?
Yes. In fact, what we project is that there's going to be a sex revolution.
What does that mean?
It's going to be more than what we think, what we have seen so far. We are literally going to have people maybe have sex on the road because of that years of psychological damage. So
I want you to now help us here. Seeing that there's the studies have shown that there might be a sex revolution. And from what you said now, that's scary. But how can we salvage the situation, especially from the Christian point of view?
And we can only mitigate it or try to reduce it, because it's been centuries and years of damage. So the number one thing, can church handle? Is it that church opens up an atmosphere for people to express themselves, or church waits for the sex revolution? Either of the two. Pastor, which one will you choose? Is it the sex revolution where people will have sex on the road? Or why don't we start allowing people to open up now with guarantee that nobody will look down on them?
And it's the same thing it's the same thing Mrs. Moronkeji said last week about having a place where people can come to the church, having designated units, family units that help people address this issue, that units that have professionals within them. It's not just about reading the scripture. Yes, all of that coupled together, but professionals who can provide professional help and then mix it and back it up with the word of God and to help people.
But when I saw it on Pastor Francis' Twitter page, I just liked it immediately. And I saw the advert. I said, "Wow, this is where TBN as always is a pioneering church." I feel that in years to come, this will become a common thing. Churches will start trusting mental health professionals. Is it that we trust them by force now, or is that we trust them now without force? Or we trust them in the future by force?
Okay, so I want to now move down to here.
And getting married does not mean you will not have sexual urges, and you will not think that your partner will be able to. Like once you are, some people think once I'm married, that's the end of uncontrolled sexual urge. That's not true.
And also, there's this other belief too that people try to get married because they don't want to mess around anymore.
My first handshake. It's very wrong. That no, quickly get married. Even while we are saying, after having survey, we now say people should have relationship for like 3 to 4 years. And we stated what they should, and we put it there, what they should do first year, second year, third year from the survey. People say, no, quickly get married though, so that they will not commit fornication. The person that cannot wait will commit. If he does not commit fornication, will commit adultery. Because sex is about alignment. If there is no alignment, they will still cheat.
And another thing also where you get to hear some ladies, for example, that they know that this guy is cheating in the dating scenario. And they're like, no worry, I will change him.
Yeah, because you can't change a person. Nobody has the power to change
anybody.
Another person. Then women feel that women naturally look down on men. They feel we are very senseless. Actually, to be true, men are very foolish.
Some men.
No, men are foolish.
Or most men. Based on statistics. Since we've not met all the men in the world.
Men will do anything. They say, I'm the provider. They will go to the extreme. They will provide until they end up not being alive to use the provision. Is that not foolishness? They don't know what it means to be a man. So women feel that they can change a man, but it's not advisable. You can't change anybody. If you have succeeded in changing yourself, you will know what it takes to change another person, and you will not venture into it.
Interesting. Which now leads me to this question that I've been meaning to ask also, because you also spoke about, the physiological conditions for women and also the physiological conditions for men in terms of how a woman has 3 weeks of emotional surge in a month, and how hormonal surge, yes, and also looking at the men also, that, for example, look at it sexually now. For a man now,
we have erections in the morning.
And of course, sex is almost like on and off. You can just, but for
women is psychological. For men, it is physical.
Yeah. So, how then based on this understanding, how then can young Christians who are dating walk around this and live a peaceable life?
Okay, so the problem is that people they start relationships with total strangers. If you want to start a business, will you not do backup check with a person that you want to start a business with? I'm asking you.
Definitely.
So why is that you don't do backup check for relationship? For a business partner, you can disengage. But for relationship, that's a lifetime journey. So a lot of people are in relationships with strangers. And so sex will not work.
Sex will not work.
It will not work. So we encourage people that let everybody be in crowd stage. And then look out for people that have a lot in common with you. Transfer them to.
But then they also say that you can't really know a person.
You can't know a person and then you want to start a journey with that person. How foolish are we?
Okay.
So, if you can't know, what we are saying is that yes, knowledge is progressive. But before you start and say yes, you need to have a strong grasp of who that person is.
A strong grasp. No, maybe not the entire thing, but at least a strong grasp.
I'll be able to know who this person is. And I'll be able to project what is this person capable of doing.
Thank you, sir.
You are married, now say he cheated. He showed you the signs, She showed you. But because women say there are 6 women in one.
Wow.
And then they say we are the ones in club, we are the ones in church. We just change clothes. How many men are aware that women have, with due respect to you women, know, that women have psychopathic tendencies? Like women can be so wicked because of the high level of intelligence. And if it's not well managed, they can mismanage that intelligence.
I think I've seen that from movies. Certain movies I've seen. Oh my goodness. That was one I saw. That was crazy. Which now leads me to my next question, because you also made mention of that, sexual compatibility. And the reason I'm asking about this is that these are some of the questions you'll see in young Christian gatherings, especially when it comes to relationship. And then there's a question of sexual compatibility. Some will say, why should we even think about sexual compatibility and all of that? What should be the story? What should be the truth? What is the truth about sexual compatibility, especially for Christians, especially for young Christians?
Yeah, social compatibility. So many people just feel, okay, so somebody said 99% of people would rather die than think. So that's where the problem is. Those of us that read Bible, how many of us challenge what is in the Bible? Like question it. What does this mean? Are we even aware that the Bible was written in codes? That if you just take it like that and use it like it will not work. So that's where the problem lies. Being able to challenge what we know, being able to know what we know, and then know what we don't know.
I think we have a question. Please.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mike. It's been a wonderful time. But you said something about because some people cannot hold themselves. And when you were saying that quickly, I remember what the Bible says. Paul was advising people in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 7. Let me, please indulge me to read. He said, if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. From what I can get from you, it means every man born with such passion.
Yes, and he did not say they should marry now,
He
like
didn't say they should
after service.
Yes.
But the way people are interpreting it is next week. Marry, please.
Now, then you said that will not suppress or
No,
put
it will
end
not.
to it.
It will not.
So if it's not going to put end to it, then why did the Bible? That's exactly my question.
Yeah, because many people just they said so that you will not born. they have been able to go through the thinking process for us. So let's just do copy and paste. The same Bible says in Joshua 1 verse 8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. On this law you shall meditate, repetitive exposure. Yeah. You shall meditate therein day and night, for then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. And then Romans 12, 1 and 2, I'm paraphrasing, I think verse 2, be ye transformed by the renewing or the re-education of your mind. So, if we don't allow people to think, please explain to me how they will. Can there be education without thinking? So Paul, number one, if you read that verse and you don't think, you will say Paul is saying, after today's service, and so that you will not burn my brother, just pick anybody. Is that not what our brothers are doing? Just pick anybody, just go and marry. Straight.
And then strangers versus strangers.
But Paul is saying there is a problem. So that you can have at least a stable partner that you can have sex with, marry. But there is an in-between stuff that I did not talk about.
Yeah.
What should I do to identify who to marry? What does burning mean? What do I need to take care before I get married? So there's a lacuna.
All right, sorry, thank you, sir. Before we leave tonight, I quickly want to ask, as a church or organization, what can we do?
Proper sex mastery class.
Oh, sex mastery class. Please help us.
Because being born again does not mean that you're going to master sex. You have to. The mind is important in appropriating the blessings of Christ. Mental health is pivotal in appropriating the blessings of Christ. So people will not be able to master their sexual urges if they have not been able to master their minds. That they will have offer like this, juicy offer from their spec. And the only thing, even Paul said, the love of God constraineth me. Don't forget there can be no love without knowledge. So he's saying there's a particular knowledge that is making me to reject this offer, even when my body is crying for it.
Man, these are interesting times. And one thing that I think I will take home from here is what you made mention earlier about the fact that sexual abuse is here in our world today because people are trying to fill a void. And, by the time you get into some gatherings, into some circle, the way they talk about sex, like as though it is everything and it is anything. Something comes to mind now, and because I'm with you as a professional.
So overhyping, there's also overhyping of sex.
Yes, and also there's this. Okay, I'll share a story. I was also anchoring a program also, and the topic was around body count. Typically as a Christian, I was like, what do I say that I will not? Because right now in our world, people are ready to come after you if you sound like you don't conform to a certain standard, and I know what I got from the fact that I stated certain standards that I do. Because one of the things that the major idea was, the question was that, it was a, of course, informal setting and not a Christian gathering. And the conversation was that, would you like to know your part, if you are dating
Body
someone,
count.
would you like to know their body count? If you know, if you know the amount that they had, would you still want to go and continue? Would you still want to continue? And
Yeah.
and that set off a whole another kind of conversation.
Yeah, that's what we meant by that sexual compatibility. You see those 3 C's. People teach about finding the right partner, but what does it take? They will say, pray. Wait, let's be calming down. They will go and have successful marriages. What did you do? How did you find Mama? God told me we prayed, but you are constantly, Madam is going harder. And then people get carried away with the way pastors are, they are very spiritual. The same spiritual people have sex at home. And Mama say harder. Can you picture Mama saying harder? Many people cannot even believe that their parents have sex. They have. How did they give out to you?
Exactly.
So body count is important. So sexual compatibility, nobody is saying that a non-virgin. In fact, non-virgins and non-virgins, they have class. They are grades. You must be able to know if your body count is the same thing as the other person's own. If it's not the same thing, you might be the learner in the other room. Will you be patient enough? If you are the man, are you humble enough when the wife is saying, bend me? Bend me? Who taught you? Who has been bent? You didn't ask for body count. The person will not tell you the body count during relationship. The person will tell you body count during friendship. Is this person
your friend
qualified to be your friend? That is before asking the question, is this person qualified to be my life partner?
Wow, I think we have to end on that note. Thank you very much, Dr. Michaels. That was an enlightening session. And I saw that the main focus was around for young couples and Christians. And of course, I still have some more other questions, but I think we'll have to shift that to next week. But thank you very much. And I hope that you learned something. I hope that you got liberated from what Dr. Michael said. And my prayer, I'm praying for someone right now that if you feel like there's a void in your life, for those that know, don't shy away from it. You are looking for some other things like drug, sex, and any other thing you can find to fill it. Accept that you have a void. Talk to someone. If you're a Christian, find someone you can trust. Find a pastor you can trust that will not judge you, that will talk to you, that will pray with you, that will believe with you. And for those that don't know, maybe it's a time for you to go back home now to have self-reflection. What habits have you been onto recently that is not like you? It may be because you are not aware that there is a void in you that you're trying to use all those bad habits to fill. Have honest conversations with yourself. Pray. And I think another thing we need to mention is people finding accountability partners too. And I think, yes, the church is open. TBN is open. I can guarantee I can find people to talk to here at the Bridge Network, just in case you're looking for who to talk to. You can find people to trust and all of that. Even much more. Friends that you can be accountable to, that will help you, that will talk with you, that can help you go through that. Another thing that Dr. Michael said was the mind, knowing how the mind works. Take time to self-reflect, retrospect of sex. I'm praying that God will help you. I'm praying that all of this will bring liberation and deliverance into your marriage. And that's our time right here at the World Bank Kingdom Conversations. Hope to see you next week as we draw the curtains on the conversation. And I can guarantee that next week will be explosive and liberating and enlightening as we go along on this conversation of sex, live and direct. This is the Bridge Network City Church. Don't forget that by Sunday we have our services, 8 a.m. Real Success Seminar, where we discuss life and business, and also 9:45 a.m. for our network service, where we have been talking about solitude, unlocked by solitude, the audacity code, and we are trusting that we are hoping that you can join us on this journey as we discover God together and do life together. Till I see you next time, God bless you.
Take care.